Hello everyone. So we are at the last stage of our game where we will introduce a special power stage to our game. So let's get started. Let me show you what do I mean. Okay, so as you can see in this version of the Pacman game, we have added 4 big dots. What are these big dots? So these big dots are actually power for the Pacman. As soon as this Pacman gets this big dot, this Pacman gets a special power. So it need not to worry about these phantoms at all. The phantoms will turn gray, and for 10 seconds, the Pacman need not to worry about the phantoms. Let me show you what do I mean. So let me get one of the big dot and show it to you. So as soon as this Pacman gets one of the big dot, gets this big dot or laddu, you will see the sound of all the phantoms turned gray. So Pacman need not to worry about all these phantoms at all. Even if the Pacman touches the phantoms, it will not lose the life. Okay. And the game will be ended accordingly. So it makes this game more interesting. So let's get started. Okay, so this is what we have already created as in the last video. What do you think is going to be the next step? Next step, according to me, is going to be, first of all, we need to create those 4 big dot sprites. So let's draw them first and create the sprites. So I will draw a new sprite, and which will be a plain dot. It will be a little bigger than the yellow dots and maybe a different in color. A different color, this looks good. Okay, so let me draw a circle, which we will use as a big dot. Looks good. No need to do a little bit, a lot of drawing here. I will name it as big dot. Go back to your code. Before this draw function, somewhere create these 4 sprites. Make sure that it is before the draw function. We don't want our program to hang and keep creating so many sprites again and again. So all this sprite creation has to be outside the draw function. So I'm going to create this big dot 1. You can, if you want, you can use for loop also, but in case of for loop, you will have to manipulate a lot about position X and position Y, which is also absolutely fine. But because here we are talking about only 4 big dots, I am going to create it in a simple way. So I will run and will try to see the positioning. Okay, maybe 25, 25 could be the position of first sprite, first big dot. Let me give it an animation and then I will see if we need to resize it. We will definitely have to resize, but how much? That will give us some idea. Okay, so let me resize it to maybe 0.5 because it's a big dot. Yes, looks good. So I will simply copy paste this code 4 times. I will change the coordinates and the names. Make sure that you don't make any copy paste mistake. So first is at 25, 25. Second big dot, let's make it at 375 and 25. Big dot 3 will be at 25 and 375. Make sure that you rename as well and you don't make any copy paste mistake. Yes, I call it copy paste mistake. And third, fourth will be 375, 375. We will just draw it and see if we need to change the position or something. To begin with, this looks good to me. So reset and run. Oh, perfect. I think we have these big dots at the perfect position. What next? Next, we should actually add these big dots to a group. Why? Because if Pacman is touching any of the dot, my functioning or my logic has to be same. So we will, if we add them all to a group, we will apply the logic to a group and it will make it very easier. So I will create a group here. Before we are creating these big dot variables, we should create the group. So I will name it as big dot grp. You can name it anything. Create a group. Sorry, this is the name of the group. So group dot add big dot one. I will again make a copy paste of this and do the needful for other big dots as well. So we have added big dot 1. Now let's add big dot 2, big dot 3, and big dot 4. Okay, reset and run that we have not made any error. Looks good. Now we need to start putting the code if Pacman is touching the big dot. So what do we want if the Pacman is touching the big dot? We want the big dot to destroy and the Pacman to gain some score. So let's start writing the code. If Pacman dot is touching. So if Pacman is touching what? Pacman is touching any of the dot in this big dot group. So instead of using, doing the same thing for all the 4 dots, we can do it directly on the group. So everything will be applied to the all the sprite inside the group. So if Pacman is touching big dot group, what do we want? First thing, okay, let's add on some score. Yeah, it needs some score. Maybe we can add on 50 score. Another thing, what do we want? We want this big dot to be destroyed. Now here we will have to check which big dot has been touched by the Pacman. So here we will have to again check which big dot has been touched. So if Pacman is touching big dot 1, what do we want? We want to destroy the big dot 1. Dot destroy. We don't want to destroy, all the sprites if it is touching even 1. So that is why this is the hack. So let's do it for all the big dots. Again, I will do a copy paste, but make sure that you don't make any copy paste mistake. So here, if it is touching big dot 1 needs to be destroyed. If it is touching big dot 2, 2, 3, 4, and accordingly. So let's reset, run, and test this much. So I will quickly go to one of the big dots. Yes, this big dot is destroyed. So this code is working fine. Let's test it quickly for all the big dots. Okay, so I have tested it quickly for all the big dots and it seems to be working fine. So if my Pacman is touching any of the big dot, we are changing the score by 50 and all these big dots, whatever big dot is touched is being destroyed. What next? Next we want, if the Pacman is touching big dot, it should get the special power. So for a special power, what we will do? We will create a variable and we will see if this Pacman is actually in a power mode or not. So we will go up and we will create a variable here, variable mode. And we will initialize it to normal because initially my Pacman is not in power mode. Once it touches the big dot, then only it will acquire the power mode. So initially I am writing the mode as normal. So we'll go down and here we will change the mode to power mode. So what if, just changing this mode to power mode, how will it work? How will it work? I will have to use this variable. So fine, here we have made the mode as power mode. What else? So let's write a code for this special mode, which is a power mode. So if mode equals to power, what do we want? If mode equals to power, we want these phantoms should actually become gray. So what I will do, I will go to animation and I will create a copy of one of the phantom. which will be gray in color. So let me pick a gray color. Okay, and just paint it. I will probably name it as Gray Phantom. Yes. Okay. So if the mode is power, what do we want? If the mode is power, we want to change the animation of all the phantoms inside this phantom group to Gray Phantom. So we will say phantoms.set animation each. Here we will use set animation each because we want all the phantoms to change to Gray Phantom. So first, let's see if this much is working or not. It is very important that you keep on testing your code. See, this is not working. This third dot is not being destroyed. So maybe there is some change that needs in this code. Yes. So see, this is the typo mistake I was talking about. So big dot 3 and big dot 4 it will be. So let me reset and run now and test it. So that is why it is very important that you should keep on testing your code. Yes, now it is working fine. Fine, this is okay. But now all the phantoms have turned gray. We want to turn them to their original color after some time. So maybe we will say, after 10 seconds, the phantom should come to their original position and the mode should become the normal mode. So for this, here we will note the time. Okay, we will note the time of when this Pacman acquired the power mode. So again, for time we will create a variable power time, initialize it to 0, and here when the Pacman is touching the big dot, we will change this power time. We will assign the value of power time to the current time, world.seconds. Okay, so we know that at which moment, at which second of the game, the power mode is turned on, and after 10 seconds we want the mode to turn off, this power mode to turn off and make it a normal mode. So after 10 seconds, what we will do, how we know after 10 seconds? So power mode, power time, this is a variable power time plus 10 equals to world dot current seconds, right? So if it has been 10 seconds, this Pacman acquired the power mode, we need to set the mode to normal. So set the mode to normal, and now my phantoms should get their original animation. So p1 dot set animation. This now we will have to do to each of the phantom because each have got a different animation. Yes, of course you can do a copy paste, but don't make any copy paste mistake. Okay, so after 10 seconds, the mode will be reset to normal and all the phantoms will acquire their original animations or original costume. Let's see if it is working or not. If the phantoms are acquiring their original animation after 10 seconds of it getting the superpower. Yes, so phantoms have changed to gray. And let's wait for 10 seconds to watch. Yes, they are now back. And the lives are also getting reduced. So another thing, what do we want to do? I think I should add some, during the power mode, there should be a sound. It looks very nice if we have a sound. So when we are giving it a power mode, we will also play a sound. You can pick any sound of your choice. Maybe I will pick this point 3. Yeah, choose it. And true. True means it will keep on playing all the time. Okay. And when do we want to stop the sound? We want to stop the sound when we are changing the, we want to stop the sound when we are again changing the mode to normal. So we will go back and we'll stop sound here. So instead of play, I will just say stop. Stop sound and it works as it is, the same parameters and everything same. So let's reset, run it and test. At every logical point, it is important that you keep testing. It will always be helpful if you test your code frequently. Yes, so this is working fine. What next? Next, because of Pacman has got a superpower. So what we will have to do, when the Pacman has got superpower and it is touching the phantoms, the lives should not be reduced. So we will go up and see where is the code where we are actually reducing the lives. Where is it? So here, if the Pacman is touching phantoms, what do we want? First, we should check what is the mode. So we will check here if mode equals to normal, then only we want the lives to be reduced. And also move phantom. Move Pacman will also be applicable only if the mode is normal. Otherwise, this Pacman is not worried of any phantom in a special power. So let's test this one also. Okay, it is in power mode. Yes, it is touching, getting touched by these phantoms, but no lives are going. Okay, life went because 10 seconds are gone, and suddenly it came out of the power mode. It lost its power. Game over. I hope you enjoyed creating this game. I enjoyed a lot teaching you guys how to create this Pacman game. So do send me your queries, your experience, or your any question which you have in comments, and I will be happy to help you out. Do you notice you have actually created around 500 lines of code, and it is a full-fledged game, very, very near to the actual Pacman game. All the best. See you soon. Bye bye.